So if you've been watching the news, there's this story that has kind of captivated South Africa with the Bonnie and Clyde of South Africa, which is Thabo Bester and this lady, Dr. Nandi. Now, this lady has been impelled into crimes that you see in the movies. And with this particular guy as well, I mean, like, families are involved. So-and-so's father is involved. Who is where, whatnot. There's all these things that are being said. And there was something that came to my mind, particularly about influence. Once you have a couple and one influences the other to getting involved into things that are dubious or whatever you may call it, I saw a very interesting picture. Once they were arrested, both of them, they are sitting in this thingy, and you could almost see this arm fist thingy where she's like just kind of like holding herself. It's almost equivalent to self-soothing sign of trying to kind of like, you know, calm yourself to where you are right now. When you are like the most wanted person in a country, as to how far she has been involved in getting this guy out of jail, all her fraudulent behaviors, involvement with dead bodies and false claims of insurance and all this kind of stuff, like how far she was involved herself. And so when I saw that picture, it kind of sparked that thought. How far do people that come into our lives influence us? And once we are able to have that conversation of how far do people in our lives get to influence us, it becomes a very interesting conversation we can have. If these lines of right and wrong keep getting blurred, you will land yourself in trouble. Because if they can get you to agree to one wrong thing, there's no way you will stop to say no to the next wrong thing. How far you get involved, it's by choice. You know, there's a lot of conversations online about who did what, who influenced who, where, how. At the end of the day, one gets involved knowing very well the limits were set far before the act that they got themselves involved in. Like, for instance, if you're talking about the insurance claims and whatnots and the dead bodies and all those things, that already is a crime by itself that she herself got involved in. But at what point did she draw that line to say she's willing to get involved in this man's shenanigans? That's a different conversation. That creates a different conversation. But it brings up the subject matter about influence, the type of influence we have on each other. And when you have, say for example, an example in the Bible, Ananias and Sapphira, right? They have influenced each other to a point where they are going to lie to the church about their work in the marketplace or their profit in the marketplace. And they lie so because they are an influence to each other. At that point, the two of them are as guilty as it can be. It's not like, oh yeah, this one influenced this one, but the sin of this one is less than thingy. No, the sin of both is as equal to thingy. If you are in a relationship and somebody gets you involved in their jazz, for instance, with all these cases that you've seen with the Hillsong leader having to protect his father from dubious things that he did, you have all these examples that we've had of people protecting the Catholic Church, protecting leaders of their church by moving them around into different branches, even into different counties, just to protect these people because of dubious things that they are doing in the local church or whatsoever. We've seen it with the recent Dalai Lama situation. My question was in that story, how did the Dalai Lama get so comfortable to a point where he didn't even realize when he had gone too far to ask a boy to suck his tongue? How did it not click that this is wrong? It's because he has done that for so long, maybe, I don't know. How has he become that confident in doing that out in the public? Has he done that before? Has he asked others before and nothing was done about it? Influence, the type of influence we have that can lead us into the position that we are. Someone might try to find Nandi innocent because they don't realize the sin of both is just as equal. Once you have allowed a certain line of behavior, even in the ones that you love, how far you get involved is actually, there's no limit. Influence is quite an important subject. Just like the example that I gave of Ananias and Sapphira, where one is as guilty as the other one, I think it deserves time to think about it. But y'all tell me what you think. It's Ricky's Reality Show with daily Christian commentary videos. And I'll see you on the next episode. Don't get involved in other people's sins because you yourself will go as deep as they have.